before we go to Q&A, I had a couple of points I wanted to make. First is, I think does help to look at what the numbers are we're talking about. I mean, and we have projected, this is the Hispanic population overall, so it's native-born and foreign-born, but using it as a proxy, since the majority of immigration is, in fact, Hispanic, we have about 15% of the population Hispanic now. With no immigration, and if illegal immigrants went home, that goes to less than 18% over 30 years. So there's an increase even with absolutely no immigration, but it's not that great when compared to today's immigration policy of high immigration plus letting the illegal immigrants stay. You end up at 25% of the population Hispanic in just 30 years. So, I mean, the consequences of this, of future immigration policy, really are quite significant. In other words, this isn't, as a lot of people seem, whether Republican or Democrat, seem to assume this is some kind of force of nature. It's the weather, it's the tide, there's nothing you can do about it. In fact, this is a very clear decision on the part of policymakers to permit this to continue. And the one thing I wanted to point to was sort of accentuate the flip side. I'd never really thought of the way David put it, where if you have the country of 1910, you may need to have the politics of 1910. And in a sense, a corollary of that is that the immigration pause created modern conservatism in some sense, or at least the conditions where it could flourish. And I think you see that quite clearly. In other words, that immigration transforms society in ways that makes the arguments of the left and the policy options of the left more attractive to non-immigrant voters. 1/3 of all the uninsured are immigrants or their young children at home. And so if you're not an immigrant, you're not even thinking about immigration policy, but a politician is saying, look at the magnitude of this uninsured population. If you were kind of on the fence, socialized medicine may well seem like a more sensible or at least necessary policy option, precisely because immigration has expanded the magnitude of the problem. And that goes the same with income inequality, with lower wages, but even other things, for instance, and things people don't think about. Diversity reduces social trust and civic engagement. This is pretty clear. Robert Putnam's research, the Bowling Alone guy, has been quite explicit on this. And so what happens is government ends up filling the void. And finally, even something, and this is something people don't usually think about, especially on the right, is that immigration drives population growth, and population density translates into bigger state. More people in the same space means more rules, more police, more government. And all of those factors are essentially pushing in the direction that the left would like to go, even if it doesn't have anything to do in the short term with the votes of immigrants or the party preferences of immigrants.